Well, good early evening, everybody. Down here at the wood yard. It's nice, chilly. I think it's like somewhere around 24 degrees somewhere right now. For Christmas, Jamie, my stepdaughter, and her boyfriend had bought me a splitting maul and a matching hatchet, which I'm kind of excited to try. I don't know much about the brand. But I'm not sure I would have bought much different anyway. If it's not something super duper important, I don't mind buying off-brand makes. So it's pretty similar to something that you would see in Tractor Supply, right? So Tractor Supply or maybe Home Depot. I imagine Home Depot probably has something like this. I believe it's Karui or Karui, I think. So we'll have to see. I think it's about a 6-pound splitting maul. It's got the cheeks here, to the left and to the right. And we're gonna have to see how it does. Years back, I had bought one almost identical to this from Tractor Supply. Looked, like I said, same colors, everything. I know it was a different brand. At least the label was different. But I don't know if this is any different at all. So we'll see how the performance is. And then we've got a matching hatchet. Looks very much like a tomahawk style, basically. And I'm sure this is much better than the little one that I bought while we were out camping a while back. And I kind of bought it in desperation because we didn't have anything to split kindling down. And that thing was terrible. And you could look by, just by the edge of, this is going to be much, much better. So Jamie, honey, if you're watching, thank you very much. I appreciate this. And they're gonna get used plenty. And that's gonna be starting today. I did get a wedge, a splitting wedge also for Christmas, but I'm racing the sunlight and I couldn't seem to find it. But you will likely see that in a later video because I'm gonna go over here by the wood pile and I'm gonna start using this splitting maul here and see how it does. All right, so naturally come down to the wood yard and there's a whole bunch of stuff here to split, but it's all frozen to the ground. So it was a little bit of a workout getting that to release. So this here is hard maple, and we're gonna see how this splits. Get some of that schmutz off of there. So looks like there's three branches that were on this. We're gonna have to see what kind of success I have now. Get ready for a laugh. It's been a long time, many years since I've really put in any extensive amount of time into splitting wood manually. I did a lot of splitting when I was a little guy, around between 12 and 15 years old. I did a lot of splitting at my buddy's house, just a couple miles from here when we were growing up, and we enjoyed it then. I'm not sure how that's going to translate to now. I still do enjoy getting out and doing things like this because, well, it just makes you appreciate things like the Champion log splitter. For as minimal of a log splitter as that is, being a box store setup, it's not, a big commercial brand. But I can tell you that splitter, even the configuration that it is really a lot better than this, until gasoline is scarce and hard to get your hands on. So I always try to keep something like this around. So let's see how good these gloves I got from Tractor Supply, see how good they are. I'm hoping, it feels like it's gonna do well. So I'll get this out of my way before I break my neck on that. Okay, so get ready to laugh. It's been a long time. Not too bad. What was that, 3 hits, I think? Not bad, not bad. Oof, that was pretty harsh. I'm so used to using my little Fiskars with the short, tiny handle that my distance away from the piece of wood that I'm splitting, it's a little off. I'm not used to it anymore. So once I get recalibrated, I think I'll do okay. One thing I do want to mention, you know, it's a pretty regular subject matter that comes up in the firewood community with sizes of splits, right? So, you know, whether to split smaller pieces, bigger pieces, which one's better, reasons why one might be better than the other, and specifically size, honestly, it's just kind of a hunch. I don't have any real, you know, I wouldn't do any fact checking or anything like that, but back in the day when you had to split this stuff manually, the less you handled it, the happier you were, because, you know, as long as you got it to be big enough or small enough to fit in your fireplace or wood stove, that's really all that mattered. The less time, the least amount of times you had to swing this thing, the happier you were typically. Now, because we have hydraulic power, okay, splitting it down smaller is less of a back-breaking task, right? So I kind of think, you know, some of the old school folks that, you know, want, you know, bigger types of pieces, you know, just because, you know, supposedly they got more burn time or whatever. I'm not so, I'm not really, how can I say, I'm not 100% invested in that mindset, right? So I actually do prefer my firewood pieces to be anywhere between 3.5 and 2.5 and 3. That combination of those two sizes, I think for the wood stove and even firewood bags and bundles is really ideal. Largely because it just stacks better in general, and also it looks nicer to the customer, and it dries faster. So anyway, let's get back to splitting, and so far I'm liking this thing. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not to mention the other thing about splitting this stuff manually is the smaller the target gets, the harder it is to split it like a 50-50 split. And ideally, that's what everybody tries to do, right? We try to aim right for the middle. Now, I know a lot of guys I see on the YouTubes, and these guys are splitting directly off the ground. I think range of motion is a benefit. The more speed you can get, more air time you can get before you make contact with the wood, I think is actually better, right? However, I do prefer to have a log round as a base. So that way the initial contact that I have is a more sudden blast of energy. You're transferring that energy directly to the piece that you're splitting, and the ground is not absorbing it. That's just my take. Wow, not bad. Not bad. So again, it's been a long time. I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit. could have been a broken toe. All right. Oh, that almost hurt. The other thing that seems to be, these gloves are not very grippy, right? So I'm used to using the gloves that I use from the lumber yard that I work for. I'm used to using them, and they got rubber on them. They're great for grip, but they are terrible to keep your hands warm. They're awful. My hands get freezing in those things like they're refrigerators. There we go. That's more better. Oh, another piece over here. That's a reasonable piece. Now, when I'm splitting things like maple or ash or cherry, things like that, I don't usually go too crazy on getting the pieces as small as I can, because they typically season pretty quickly. But you know, oak and all those other really hardwoods that got much higher BTUs, I tend to split them down a bit smaller. Wow. There really is something about splitting by hand with a maul. There really is something about it. It's pretty satisfying, honestly. It is more labor intensive, but God, it feels good. What I'm gonna do here is I brought down an ash round, and this ash round is actually bigger than the platform I have put aside here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the big ash round, or the bigger ash round, as my platform, and I'll split this one down. Looks like my fire got ripping over there pretty good. That's nice. I'll tell you, doing this stuff manually, it makes you have to take less trips over to the burn barrel to get warm. That is for sure. All right, I'm gonna flip this upside down. You can see I got a bunch of grass and wood chips and stuff frozen to the bottom. So I'm gonna split this side. I wanna make sure that none of this ice buildup and schmutz is gonna absorb any of my swing. So let's see. Let's see. All right. So because it's a 6-pound sledge, I might give it a couple shots right down the middle, but we'll see. Typically with a wedge maul this size, I usually try to chip them off the edges and work my way in. But I'm gonna give it a couple shots here. It might go. Oh, almost. I'm gonna give it one more. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. We're talking. That wasn't too bad. Of course, again, it's ash. It's not really a fierce type of wood to split. I mean, I've run into some pretty tenacious ash pieces, but for the most part, ash really ain't too bad. bit of a chip. Just chipped it. Looks like the outside might have been a little punky. That's probably why it probably went to split and then bailed out. Really is a pretty reasonable piece. It's not really necessary for me to cut it down more, but only one way to get your accuracy up is to keep practicing. That worked out pretty good. Some ash. Bad. So how about you guys? You guys like to revisit the old way every once in a while and kind of make sure all your motor skills are greased up good and kind of keep your balances and your crosshairs aligned? I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, I think doing stuff like this helps your hand-eye coordination, your balance, all that stuff. I imagine, you know, it could really help walking around all these log rounds and things on all different surfaces, snow and ice, and, you know, sticks and twigs that you could trip over, roll your ankle. I don't know. I kind of think like this is kind of like training your body and your muscles and your reflexes. Let me know what you think down in the comments, what your take is on that. Am I just full of hot air or what? All right. Pretty nice piece. Not too bad. Yeah, that one really sucked up the wedge. That's the side that was on the ground, so naturally there's a lot of moisture in it, and that moisture is beginning to absorb my my swing. Oof. Man, total rejection there. Doing pretty good. That's pretty good resemblance to the one that I used to have. Unfortunately, that one died by getting backed over by the tractor. So that was my own fault. Heck, that was about 10 years ago. Snow's freezing to the bottom, making it not want to stand. So, which way does this want to be split? Maybe that way. Oh, kind of, not really. Probably should have went the way I originally was going to go for it. Thin little piece. See if it'll even stand. Good. Come on now. Oh, just missed it. The sun, I don't know if it shows in the camera. It doesn't look like it's translating well, but the sun is behind me this way. And I'm trying to use the sun from that way to shed some light on what I'm splitting. But what's happening is when you're trying to get a good aim, you're trying to square yourself up with your target area. And when I do that, I block out the light from the sun. There we go. That's more better. So Heath has been rattling the cage a little bit, trying to get everybody to chop down another tree with a chopping axe, or I should say a felling axe to be correct. And my intentions are to do that. However, I'd like to use my grandfather's axe that he's had since he was a young father. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on there. The handle is a hickory handle. Unfortunately, when I was a little guy, I used to love playing with Papa's axe, and I was trying my skills to get better at splitting. And you know, you overreach, and the handle ends up hitting the top of the piece, and you wind up busting it up pretty bad. So it's still in the same condition today. So when I get around to getting a nice replacement hickory handle, something that I can have for a long time, I will then go and find a tree somewhere along the tree line. If all the lantern flies and beetles and ash borers and things like that don't drop them on the ground before I can get to them. So yeah, I'm looking into doing that. I actually wanted to do it the first time around, but my dilemma of actually participating was the same exact thing. I really wanted to use my Papaw's axe to do it, and that still remains to be what I'm kind of waiting on. So, all right. So I got one hard maple round. I got one ash piece. I brought this ash round down to replace the other piece. I'm gonna do probably one more hard maple, and then I might try what I believe to be honey locust. So let's see how that goes. Whew. She's heavy. Okay, so here's to hoping. Ooh, it's got a split going across. Wow, not bad, not bad at all. Very nice. The only downside to splitting by hand is you got to chase all the pieces. Of course, that does keep your body temperature up pretty good. I don't know. The camera's starting to show the sun going down now. I might not be able to get to that piece of honey locust. We might have to save that for another video. Going to be a little better. Ooh. Yeah, almost overshot that one too. You don't want to be getting in the habit of that. Some of that ice buildup is beginning to oh wow. I'll tell you, I hear some of these guys talking about technique, right? And how they tell you how to flick when you hit. I'll tell you, I try to do that intentionally. It's not easy to do. It's way easier to accidentally do it. It's just the truth. Let's see, I'll try one more time with this one. If I can't get another one out of it, then oh, okay. I just ain't got the power, or the grip is actually more the reason, I think. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Looks like one of our friends, one of our horsey friends is here. So I'm sure things are gonna get pretty noisy. And things are gonna start moving around. You're not gonna be able to hear much of what I'm saying. Plus, the sun's going down. So that's gonna be it for this video. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here in the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. Let me know what you think about the content of the video. Do you like seeing this? Do you not? You know, also, you know, put in the comments some of your thoughts on the things I was talking about with the theory of big firewood versus small firewood, and maybe kind of how that assumption that bigger firewood is better and all that stuff. So yeah, if you guys like the content you see here at the Mount Tammany Ridge channel, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, share with some of your friends that might be interested, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You take care now.